Welcome, welcome. I'm your guy, Kenny B, aka Kinetics. I am here today with the SuperStake team, who are going to explain to you guys how we can automate this whole staking experience with Hex. They built this based on the best, most immutable staking platform to date that I've found. If you guys know of a better one, please make me aware of it. But this community was built on this over the last 3-year track record of flawless perfection, 100% uptime. So if you're going to build something on top of this, or on top of a staking platform, why not something that's got a track record, right? So with me today, I've got Kyle, who is also co-founder of SuperStake, and the Iceman. So any of you guys from the Game Theory channel, you guys know us pretty well. You guys definitely know these gentlemen, and you guys are pretty familiar with what's already going on, what they're building. But this thing, I think, is going to be revolutionary. And I'm going to talk with these guys today to see if they can explain this to me a little better. So Kyle, Iceman, how are you guys doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. I'm glad you guys were willing to have a conversation about this because I think what you guys are doing is going to be huge. I do have a quick question for you, though. Are you guys, is this going to be something that can also be maintained by the new Tetra platform that's coming out?
So we've actually talked to Stu about that a little bit. We haven't dove in too deep yet, but I'm sure there is a way there, I believe, that that we'd be able to utilize it.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I love it. Well, because as you guys know, you guys, I think were in the chat yesterday, but you guys saw that I interviewed Stu from Tetra yesterday. And I think that the combination of these tools that are being developed right now on top of these already existing protocols are going to be absolutely amazing as far as automation is concerned. So you're not spending all your time trying to manage all the new projects coming out. And so I would like you guys go ahead and decide who's going to talk first, but someone give me the 30-second elevator pitch of what SuperStake is.
Go ahead, Kyle.
So it's simply a hex reflection token. So it has two unique features that make it what I think will be the most unique reflection token. So, and this is not only in the hex space, this is the entire market as a whole. So first thing, we were able to basically find a way for users to earn yield in the form of hex without needing taxes or time locking. And then we also incorporate, like you said, the hex staking protocol, and this is going to ensure longevity and that users can still earn yield no matter the volume.
Okay.
And that's basically it. It's very simple. And this is all going to be done autonomously. And that's through just a series of smart contracts with no admin keys whatsoever.
So immutable, no admin keys. Are we getting audits done for code?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's verified. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have block solutions audited after we deploy.
Fantastic. That's good. You just know that this community was pretty much built on immutable, no admin keys, and audits to verify code, right? So
Exactly.
So you know it's going to be a question that comes up. So why not come up here on this channel? So can you guys give me a rundown on what is the mechanics behind SuperStake? What are the stake lengths? How is it automating the rollover? How does that all work?
Yep. So as far as the mechanics, so I'll start with how we were able to do the yield with no tax. Basically, this is going to be done through inflation and deflation of the total supply. So on a buy, so basically, if you were to buy 100 tokens, you're going to get 100 tokens. But what we're going to do is inflate by 7.5% of the buy amount. And then on sells, we're going to deflate on by 9% of the sell amount. And this is all done through liquidity. And as far as the staking goes, we're going to be doing rolling 60-day stakes. Now, part of that 7.5% that's used to, yeah, there we go, a little bit easier. Part of the 7.5%, yeah, that's used off of buys is going to be broken down. 5% is going to go back to holders, and this is going to be in the form of hex. So basically that 7.5%, we're going to mint, and then we're going to sell for hex And then we're going to distribute 5% to holders, and then 2.5% is going to go into a staking pool. And that's going to be what compounds over time. And then every 60 days, we're going to release 1% upon end stake from the staking protocol.
And how long are the stakes themselves?
60 days.
60 days. Okay. And so it'll be like a rolling ladder, so to speak.
Exactly. Yep.
With a 1 day off, because it takes another day to redeploy after ending the stake, correct?
I'm sorry, Iceman, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gal. Go ahead.
I believe it's just going to be directly after. So basically, it's going to be end stake, release 1% from that total pool. And then upon restake, it's going to be the remaining value that was in that pool, plus what's in the staking pool from the last 60 days of accumulation of that 2.5%.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I guess what I mean is so if it takes me if the stakes ended and then it goes through the process, it still takes one more day to start the next stake. So there's technically a day off between each stake that rolls, correct? Or are you laddering them preemptively?
Preemptive. Well,
are you doing several 60-day stakes, or maybe a 60-day and a 120-day at the same time, so that it's a rolling stake?
They're 60-day stakes, and the way Riley, our dev, the coder, explained it to me, when the one stake is ended, the next stake is done. The contract stakes through the hex contract almost immediately. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you got to wait till UTC, midnight UTC time for that next stake to start. That's what I mean. That 1 day between the stakes.
Yeah, that's correct. The calendar on the hex.com, that you're correct. That won't update until correct.
Okay, good. So how does the token, so you guys have a token that is reflection, so to speak, of the stake itself. How does that work in this mechanic, and how is it able to pay out hex? And I'm assuming from the yield, but I'd like you guys to explain that.
Iceman, you want to?
Sure. Like Kyle said, 2/3 of the hex that's market bought by the contract, 2/3 of it. So 5% of the 7.5% goes to pay the daily reflections to holders of 5,555 SuperStake tokens. So anybody that holds 5,555 SuperStake tokens would receive airdrops of liquid hex to their wallet approximately every 24 hours, roughly.
Okay. So you guys, I'm not a tax professional out there. I want all of you guys out there who are in your respective tax jurisdictions to talk with an accountant how that's going to be taxable on your end. But essentially what you're telling us is it's just going to be an automatic payment airdrop every time a stake ends.
Well, you're going to get that every 60 days. So every 60 days, you'll get the liquid hex rewards from the 60-day staking pool. But every 24 hours, roughly, the other 59 days of that 60-day period, as long as there's buys and sells of a SuperStake token, you will receive a liquid hex airdropped to your wallet on each of those days where there's volume. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Okay.
And we accomplished that, like Kyle said, with zero tax. No tax mechanism like 99.9% of other reflection tokens have. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's a cost to get in and out.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, we don't have that.
Right on.
Buy 100 tokens, you get 100 tokens. So yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. We're really innovating the reflection token space, which I'm sure, as you're aware, is massive.
Yes, absolutely. So I know one of the questions that's going to come up from this community is how is this a net positive for Hex other than driving up the T-share rate every time the stake ends and is restarted?
Yeah. So, I mean, with the staking, obviously, we're basically taking that amount of hex off the market there. And with the hex reflections that are going to be daily, that's going to be market bought, you know. And we're urging people, one of our things is basically to get people into staking too, so they can kind of see how it works, get a little bit more comfortable with it, and understand that better. So at the end of the day, we are urging people, hey, don't sell your hex, keep it. This is basically a way to DCA in to hex. And yeah, and after you have a good bag of it, stake it yourself, because you're going to see the benefits through how we're staking it through the protocol.
So you're encouraging those who are getting airdropped liquid hex to restake that themselves on their own.
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Yeah,
this is all about hex, man. Hex works.
I love it.
It's been
We're going to be actively marketing outside of the hex community too, because we view this as a good way to get non-hexicans into the mix, so that they can become familiar with how a stake operates. Well, first of all, they can become familiar with hex and how it functions and what it does for you. And then they can become familiar with hex staking by just following the mechanics that we use and that are going to be explained on the website. But yeah, we want to onboard non-hexicans into the mix too. That was the primary motivation when we came up with this idea.
So is your target demographic people who aren't familiar with hex that are already in crypto, or beginners that don't want to learn how the hex mechanism works and just want to be able to set and forget their hex stakes? Or both? It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. I'm just curious what your guys' target is.
I'd say both, man.
Yeah.
Like, a part of me just kept hearing, I always like to go against the grain. So part of me just kept hearing how bad reflection tokens were, how much they don't work, yada, yada. And then inside me, I was just determined to, figure out a way to do it. Now, me personally, I didn't figure it out. We have a great team. A gentleman named Coin Knight actually came up with the staking mechanism. And then Riley, our developer, actually came up with the way of not having to use tax on buys and sells. So as soon as we came up with that, I just knew it was going to be a game changer, and hopefully we'll set a new precedent for reflection tokens. But I would say after a little bit, we're going to chase after like the BSC crowd, because tax tokens are huge over there. And once Pulse Chain comes out, as much as we don't want it, there's going to be a lot of those tokens that flood the Pulse Chain market, I believe.
Yeah.
Just because of how cheap the fees are.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree with that. Alan Fizame. I love this guy. I don't think he wanted me to put this up, but I did it just for him. Just trolling the troll here. So I've got some questions in the chat that I want to ask here in just a second. But how are you guys addressing your fees, the ETH gas fees? What is the mechanic behind that? And how do you see this being a net good for those who are staked through you guys?
So, I mean, you never know what ETH fees are going to end up being, but basically it's not done through the contract. This is going to be done through the user themselves. The ETH fees, honestly, from what our developers said and through the testing, they're not exponentially larger at all. And upon end stake, it's basically done through the user. So our developer, I wish he could kind of hop on here with us to explain that a little further, but it's nothing. You're not going to see like I said, exponential ETH fees just based off of all this. Where
Not tacked on top of what the cost is to stake and unstake hex. Okay.
Well,
exactly.
it's you're the user that conducts the last transaction when the hex stake ends. That user is going to pay the gas fee But the gas fee is only for a 60-day stake, not a 5555 stake. So that's how the contract deals with it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Crypto Goose has a good question here. Is the inflation the only thing that pays the daily airdrops, or are cells also inflated and given out as rewards?
Good question. So, yeah, it's just going to be through buys. On sells, we're burning the 9%. So only on buys is when the inflation is actually paying the daily hex dividends.
Yeah, no reflections on cells, and we burn that 9%, like Kyle said, directly from the LP.
Yep.
But the user still gets the full value. They still do not pay any tax.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah.
You guys accepting Dodeca for SAC?
No.
Actually,
I wouldn't either.
we're not accepting Dodeca, but for Dodeca holders that sacrifice, they're getting an additional 5% bonus if they have Dodeca in the wallet that they sacrifice from. An additional 5% through the sacrifice.
I'm trying to make some people whole here, or is that the intent behind that?
Just
Trying
to
to help
kind of
out?
help them out. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of how this started. That was actually where I met Iceman myself, was all through Dodeca and through the chat. And you know how that all ended. It was a good idea. I mean, I think reflection tokens have a place in the market, you know, regardless of what a lot of other hexkins will say. But at the end, we wanted to try and make it where, hey, all we gotta do is fix a couple things and we can make this good. And that's when it just turned into this whole new beast of SuperStake itself.
Yeah, I like that. I think that reflection tokens, aka derivatives, are good because if it brings more people into the market, it's a rising tide that floats all boats. I don't see it as it's going to take away from the buy pressure of this other token, especially if it's reflecting that token. I think it'll bring more people in and allow people to, as you guys said, DCA into their hex bags, as well as introduce them to not just SuperStake but hex as well.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about bringing people into this ecosystem, man. I mean, the community is the best out there. The token itself, the contract. I don't get too impressed by new tokens out there. I mean, I've been in crypto since 2013, and it's very rare that I saw something. And as soon as I saw Hex personally and saw Richard Hart explaining it, and I actually saw one of your interviews first with Richard, and that was when that was it for me. I just sat there and was like, man, if this was around back in the day,
yes, it's what I was looking for since I got into the market in 2017. So I like that people are building legitimate products on top of Hex to help enhance the ecosystem. And there's some good ones that I'm seeing coming out, some good projects and some good things. I think they're going to be a net positive for the RH ecosystem. And I think you guys are one of those things. Yes.
And this one, I
was blushing.
I just wanted to say, like Kyle said, we met in the Dodeca Telegram room, actually. Coin Knight, this is his design, his baby. And, you know, if it wasn't for him, this wouldn't have been possible. And also with Riley, who devised the ingenious inflationary and deflationary mechanic. Just wanted to mention that before I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this, Alan. I get it. Just like RH said, market it to the plebs and they will come, then educate them. I hope for the best for this project. That's great. In fact, he may even replace his Dodeca tattoo with a SuperStake tattoo. That's all you need to do, Alan, is just put the SuperStake tattoo right over the top of the Dodeca one. So
yeah, no, but next, like you were just saying, man, everything that's being built on, there's so much innovation. I mean, with Tetra yesterday, that's going to be huge. Like, if everything works flawlessly, internet money, you know, the first tokenized wallet. Which I'm not sure if a lot of people in the community realize, but I was actually one of the original co-founders with KG and Don there.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah. And then basically just consulting, I'm more of a motivator, I guess you'd say. When people say, "Oh, I don't know if this will work," I just jump in there and kind of try and get them motivated to find a way to make it work. You know?
Right on. Why don't you guys go ahead and give us some places we can find you, where we can find out some more information on all of this?
Yeah. So our website is SuperStake.win. Um, our Telegram, I guess we can. Iceman, you're a little
Yeah,
better with that. If you want to post that in
the
the chat.
yeah, I'll post it in the chat. It's at Super Stake Hex. I'll post it in the chat.
Okay.
Put that in
And
the
then
private chat, and I'll
yeah,
copy and paste it into the chat
okay.
for everybody else.
And then our
Perfect.
Twitter is at SuperStakewin.
Okay, at Twitter.
Twitter is at SuperStakewin, WIN.
Okay,
Uh,
here we go. Twitter at SuperStakeWin. Yeah, pop that Telegram channel in the private
Okay.
chat, and we'll go
Okay.
ahead and get that in here.
Okay.
Well, it seems pretty simple to me. I didn't think that we needed to spend too much time on it today, because I think the mechanics are pretty solid and it's pretty simple. I think those who are, especially those who are already interested or already have their hex bags, I think this is also a great play for them potentially. I mean, I don't know, everybody that's watching, your investment risk portfolio is totally up to you guys. It's based on a lot of different variables. If this sounds like something for you, that's great. We're just here to highlight that there is this new product coming out, this new project that is going to potentially, and I think so, enhance the RH ecosystem. So you guys have to make your own decisions, because I don't give financial advice. But I think it's noteworthy to let people know that something like this exists and or will exist soon. So
Yep. We're
this is a
planning to launch, I'd say within we're hoping by end of February. So we only got a few days left here, but
you guys are
we're
doing a sacrifice through the 26th, right?
Yeah, through
yes, sir.
Sunday. I see
Okay.
that question there. The reason why the tokens have to come from ETH is because of the Gnosis safe. The Gnosis
Okay.
safe that's hooked up to the wallet only accepts tokens on Ethereum.
Oh, okay. Great. That's a great point to point out there. So thank you so much for making us aware of that. Is there anything else on the mechanics behind how all this works that I didn't touch on that you guys think is something that's ingenious or should be known to everybody?
No, like you said, man, I mean, it's about simplicity. Simplicity, you know, I love it
Well,
because it's kind of bringing crypto back to where it was. No keys, no admin keys, and it
Mm-hmm.
just works. You know, we want to see this as far as the staking pool. That's what I believe is going to be the most amazing part, because over time it's just going to keep building, keep building, keep building, and when that 1% is released, you know, that's a whole different beast as far as game theory goes, because you're going to
what
have people jumping in maybe a week before, maybe a few days before, just to get that payout, and then at that point you're going to see more daily reflections, and then the people say if they sell right after, if they dump their bag, you're going to see a lot of the supply being burned. So
one of the things though, to answer your question, I did think of something. Um, the inflationary mechanic eliminates taxes. Um, it's and the inflationary mechanic and inflating on sells and then deflating, inflating on buys, and deflating on sells allows us to introduce the reflections. That's a very innovative mechanic. Introduce reflections without taxes, and then the fact that it pays liquid hex. I mean, that makes us more liquid than a T share, because a T share you only when you're staked and you get the hex accumulated at the end of the stake. With this, you're getting liquid hex dropped in your wallet every 24 hours, roughly.
That's great. Can you guys give me a little? Is there a very simple explanation of how that works? Just real quick. Just try to make it real simple and easy for a fifth grader to understand.
Um,
yeah, go ahead, Iceman.
okay. Well, I mean, we inflate by 9% on buys, So if the buyer
7.5%.
Oh, 7.5%, excuse me, 7.5%. If the buyer buys 1,000 tokens, they actually receive 1,000 tokens. We then inflate SuperStake by 7.5%. We take that 7.5% inflation, we sell it, and we market by hex with the proceeds there. That hex is then distributed, 2/3 of it to holders daily as reflections, with the other 1/3 going to the 60-day staking pool. And then on sales, we don't pay any reflections. We burn 9% directly from the liquidity pool.
I like that. So I know you guys had touched on that earlier, Kyle. I just I like the way that you just reiterated that, so it might have been simpler for people to understand, because I like that mechanic and I like how that all works. You guys can find that that flow chart on SuperStake.win. It's about halfway down the page, and that's where I put that up on screen earlier. So SuperStake.win, you can find that there. Anything else you guys really want to touch on?
Well, first off, we don't advocate any 5-year-olds buying into crypto, so we want to make sure to get that out of the way. But yeah.
Well, I wanted it to just go over Alan's head because he's a 4th grader, and so I wanted you to give a 5th grade explanation. So
okay. Yeah, go check out the white paper. That's what I would say. There's much more of the philosophy behind SuperStake and just kind of what our main goal is. And yeah, you'll just get a little bit more in-depth look into everything and also the team.
It's just going to be re-compounding every 60 days. I like that.
Longevity. Yep. It's all about longevity.
And then it's split out by the SuperStake protocol. It spits out the rewards there, automated, so you don't have anyone that you have to worry about being on vacation that day and making sure everyone gets the rewards. None of that's necessary.
Yeah, and Kenny, think about this too, man. Like, are there any coins that you would comfortably be able to get someone else in that you can ensure there's going to be value within a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year from now? You know, so that's where the staking pool releasing that 1% also comes into play. I mean, me personally, I'm not sure of any other crypto out there that's able to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I see someone like, quite honestly, I see this being great. The reason I asked the question who your target demographic is for this is I actually see like my mom or my dad who don't want to touch their own wallets, just helping them get this set up and then just putting it into this SuperStake protocol where it just automatically compounds every 60 days and gets paid the liquid hex. Yeah. And then they don't have to worry about watching when the gas fees are best and staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning to be able to execute this correctly. And then wondering, hey, what was my actual yield? And do I sell some of it? Do I keep some of it? How much of it do I restake? I don't have to worry about any of that. And I really like that for that reason.
Yeah. And one more thing. So the cool thing about this contract as well, or the series of contracts that are built into this, is they're easily, we could easily implement it with, say, Ethereum, Hedron, Icosa, like anything that has its own staking protocol built into it, we could use this contract on. So we do have plans to basically bring this to other tokens as well. Now that's not for sure. I don't want to say like for sure.
No promises there.
Yeah. And then as far as I'm sure there's going to be questions about like the Hedron that's coming along with the stakes. That's also going to be minted, and then we're going to market sell that and just add it to the staking pool. So we're just going to market sell for Hex, add it to the staking pool, just to build it a little bit faster.
Yeah. So I have a question from Tin Top, and this is more for retail customers, in my opinion, but I'd like you guys to address this. Will United States citizens be allowed to interact with SuperStake protocol after January 1st, 2024? Do you have a broker's license in the works? So you guys have seen the whole SEC coming after centralized exchanges, creating their own staking pools. Those aren't technically staking pools, in my opinion. Those are just we promise if you give us your coins, we'll give you some return. And so I'm curious if you guys have talked about this and brainstormed with the team about this.
Not entirely. I mean, it's DeFi. At the end of the day, once the contract's released, it's released.
Exactly.
There's nothing that we're not going to have any access to it.
Yeah.
You know, the SEC, they can do what they want, but if they were to say remove something like SuperStake or access to people, a lot more is going to be removed with that as well. Not just
and they can't just remove the protocol once it's been launched on Ethereum anyway.
Well, like say access to a DEX, like I mean, that's what you would have to do, right? You would have to not allow access to any DEXs.
Yeah, and then we know people in crypto are very familiar with VPNs and how to get around that. So
just like 1 inch.
I don't think they'd. Yeah, they would scare my mom away maybe, but the actual avid crypto users of DeFi probably would almost no effect to those people.
Yeah. So we don't have a broker's license coming. No.
Okay. Have you guys thought about whether you should create a separate wallet for this, or if you can just use an existing wallet that you already have?
Yeah, I mean, you could use an existing wallet, but yeah, I mean, I guess I would advocate, just use a new wallet maybe, and then just.
Yeah, I always use a new wallet with every new token. Just standard procedure for me. Just use a new wallet with every token, every contract I interact with.
Yeah, I think that's wise, especially if for some reason they try to ban the protocol like they did with Tornado Cash. Then it's not ruining all the funds coming from one wallet. It's only affecting that one wallet if there was some kind of issue like that. Staking as I like what Proof of No Work here says. Staking as a service is what the SEC was targeting. It's about custodians holding users' funds, then using those funds to pay the stakers yield. SSH shouldn't have to worry about this. Yep. Smart contract. Yep.
And
smart contract is doing everything.
Those exchanges, I mean, they weren't even paying like the correct yield that should be paid. They just kind of came up with an arbitrary number and just like, this is what you'll get.
And they were, in most cases, it looked like they were keeping 75, 80% for themselves using someone else's coins. So,
like, of course, that's not going to be allowed, you know?
Yeah, so, I don't like it. Yeah,
no,
I don't. Oh, sorry about that. I've actually got Alec from Hedron texting me right now.
Nice.
Sorry about that. So yeah, you guys not plan, but there's an opportunity for this to work with something like an ICOSA or a Hedron staking in the future. Would you rebrand? And you'd have to come up with a new protocol, obviously. Most likely have to come up with a new reflection token, and it would just be under the suite of products created by StakeHex or SuperStake, or and it would just probably be called something different. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, SuperStake Hedron, SuperStake ICOSA, you know?
Yeah.
Like our
instead of SSH, well, I guess you can't do SSH again since Hedron also starts with an H, but you guys would find something to do, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some way of marketing that. It's just a marketing thing at that point. Wouldn't affect you guys from launching the new contract. You guys have any other projects that you guys might have in the works?
Nothing at the moment. It's all about SuperStake right now. SuperStake Hex. We want to get this out and really build it up, because this is going to be the really the first thing to launch, and then from there we'll build out. But yeah, got to start, and it's all about the first product. Make sure everything works there good.
Yep.
And move on from there.
Yep.
Well, right on, guys. I think it's simple. I don't know how much we can beat the dead horse, because I think the information's out there now, and now people have resources about where to find you guys. I just want to give you guys the opportunity that if there's anything else you guys think that is some information that should be disseminated to the community, now's a good time to do that.
Yeah. Me personally, we're all about hex. We love hex. I mean, it just, like I said, it works, and that's it. That's all I want. I just want a crypto that works, does what it says, and that's it. Doesn't have to be fancy at all.
Admin key free,
Admin key
100%
free.
uptime,
Exactly.
mutable
Yeah.
contract.
Immutable
Yeah.
Yep.
Trustless interest or yield, trustless
Yeah.
yield,
Yep.
because it's not interest. It's paid. What I like about
yield.
Hex and what SuperStake will also be taking advantage of as well is I consider it, rather than interest, I consider it yield like a fruit of an orchard. So
Mhm.
you plant a tree and then it produces more fruit for you. And that's exactly what this is, because it's not paid out in US dollar. It is paid out in more of the same in a like kind transaction. So I like what you guys are doing. Thank you guys so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Kenny. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, man, anytime. So you guys go check these guys out at SuperStakeWin on Twitter. Did you put that? I didn't see the Telegram in the private chat.
I just I sent it to your personal Telegram, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, no worries. I'll grab that real quick here. So
all right, thank you.
Yeah. SuperStake.win is the website, guys, or SuperStake.win. And then on Twitter at SuperStakeWin. And then I'll post right here the t.me/SuperStake Hex for those of you guys who are interested on Telegram. Well, I appreciate you guys today. Is there anything else that you guys would like to say to any of the people in the game theory while you guys are here? Because I know they were excited about you guys coming on.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Benjamin, to Stu, to Kinetics. We love all those guys. And then we want to give a shout out
the other
to
Kinetics. There's another Kinetics.
Yeah,
out
another
there, guys,
Kinetics.
so.
The other Kinetics. Yeah,
exactly. He and I have become pretty good buddies, and he's doing the name proud, probably prouder than I am. So Kinetics out there in game theory.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys. If there's any other questions you guys have, I don't see any more here in the chat. So you guys hit the Telegram chat up, and they've got some great hardworking admins in there that are more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Thank you guys for joining me today.
All right. Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it.
Have a great day, buddy.
We'll catch you guys later.